I guess that's why we started speaking to CYFIRMA, understanding the risk that you're under and where that risk is coming from, I guess helps us target in. The questions that I started asking you, the countries we operate in, are they under any greater risk? The industry we're in, is it under, is it a high risk industry or is it a low risk industry? Are we a target of any particular campaigns, or the technologies we operate, are they a particular focus for anybody? You tell us about upcoming threats which are relevant to our organisation. You tell us about some of the vulnerabilities which you're seeing, etc. But what I find really interesting is some of the intelligence that you bring us, some of the out-of-band advisories that you give us. How does CYFIRMA start to pull all this information together? Because I know you give me a view of my risk, but how do you start to pull that information together?
So the way our platform is structured, if you look at it, it has got 4 logical layers. It has got a data collection layer where we have got 900 virtual agents. These are, you can call them as 007 of our world. These are automated programs which goes into some of those language communities, goes into dark web forums, goes into deep web, surface web.
So when you say language, you're talking, it can speak Russian, it can speak English,
yeah. So our automated engines can actually understand 28 different languages on a real-time basis. And it can actually not only read those languages, but it can understand the contextual detail of the tone and texture in which a particular language has been spoken on those forums. We collect all that information and we bring them back to our centralized platform, where we add our AI ML engines to really process through and to really find a sort of connectivity going back to our base principle of who are those cyber criminals who have got interest in you? Why are they interested? Their motivation. What do they want from us? Do they want intellectual property? Are they looking for PII, CII? What are they behind? When can they attack? Not all cyber criminals are ready all the time, right? And they do not have capability to actually launch all different type of attacks, and organizations truly have to understand the readiness of cyber criminals, and cyber criminals do go about investing a lot of time and energy in building their capabilities. So their readiness is quite important, and again, applying that to how are they going to attack. Really the operational piece, as you spoke earlier, right, is to what sort of tools, techniques, methods, malwares, phishings, which they can potentially use against us. And we process that as part of our data analysis layer. Then we have got data dissemination layer, where we stack up our finding from management findings to going up to strategic findings and up downstream looking at operational finding. And then we have got our presentation layer, where you see our executive view, which is really meant for executives like yourselves to really quickly understand your external threat landscape. Management view is really meant for managers and senior managers who wants to actually start different initiatives based on the findings. And the operational view is really meant for operators, based on which they can sort of go about and take action upon some of those findings in a prioritized way, right? See, the whole purpose of this platform is really giving that risk-based view to organization as to how they can go about actually prioritizing their cyber posture.
One of the things I've enjoyed from some of the intelligence you provided us is being able to talk with real examples of the threat that's out there at the moment. We can all go through and we can quote statistics which are coming off our firewalls, how many emails we're blocking, etc. And for a lot of organisations, that's what they see. But they don't understand what's behind that. What CYFIRMA have allowed Zuellig Pharma to do is see a bit deeper into the threat. We know who the threat actor is. We know what's the target system. We know what the method is. We know often what phase of a campaign they're in, because you've given us that information. Being able to talk to that in some detail really brings the point home to the organisation around the threat that we're currently facing and what we need to do, and that's all everybody in the team needs to do to make sure that we're trying to mitigate that threat. And so some of that intelligence really helps us to get the message across. The other area of the organisations that I think, especially a Decipher platform, can start to play a role is the risk management teams within an organisation. It's normally just the cyber team or the technology team informing the risk team about it. They don't get to see, they don't get to feel, they don't get to understand in any detail. I think, if you take Decipher that level further and start to give your chief risk officer the visibility of what's really happening in the landscape, once again, it makes it real for them, and they can start to position the organisation appropriately to mitigate that risk.
Yeah, and that's the whole intent there, really enabling your CROs to kind of respond back to those situations in the right way. Our tool, truly supports that agenda, because the way we have gone about building this, the end customer was not always the CISOs or the cybersecurity team. We always want to marry this up into risk management, looking at compliance posture, and how do we bring all of them together into one platform where everybody is able to sort of enjoy a little bit of visibility, which they can sort of go about applying into their organization.